Canada is not and never has been broken.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, boy. What do we say here about Chrystia Freeland? I don't know about you guys, but it's getting out of control. This government is either very disconnected in terms of their own mental capabilities or their own capabilities as far as their intelligence goes, or they just think we're all stupid. By the way, no book plugs today because, well, that intro says enough, I think. But just in case you guys are wondering, our book is still sitting at #1 on Amazon, How the Prime Minister Broke Canada. Go grab your copies. If you don't, apparently you love Justin Trudeau. So make sure to grab your copies. They make great Christmas gifts. And if you want signed copies, head on over to unacceptablefringebooks.com. Link below in the description. Chrystia Freeland saying Canada isn't broken. I beg to differ. I wanted to take a look today at what she's announced for the budget, because this clearly demonstrates that there is no fiscal responsibility when it comes to this government. There is no plans to try to fix the situation Canadians are in. We've seen the House of Commons with the Bloc, like in the Liberal Party, shut down the bill to provide discounts or carve-outs for carbon tax for people over the winter so that people could afford to turn on their heat and maybe, live throughout the winter. We've seen the Liberals also talk about how, the spending is necessary. And Justin Trudeau said that, they're very fiscally responsible on every dime that is spent in the Canadian budget. But let's look, we all know about Arrive Scam. We know about morons that received $11 million out of the Arrive Scam budget to essentially do nothing, yet no arrests are being made. We've seen chairs from organizations step down after the announcement on this morning's video about people stealing $200,000 in conflict of interest to their own company. No arrests have been made. Nothing's happened. Nothing continues to happen, yet this government still wants to tout that everything's okay. Now, what I'm curious about with Chrystia Freeland is, what is she on? Let's restart this. What makes somebody behave like this? Like the twitching, the head bobbing, the weaving. We've seen this on other appearances from Chrystia Freeland. This has to be like a drug fix or something. Like, it can't just be a tick. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm out to lunch. This is something that always annoys me with her, is the head bobbing, the weaving, the eye shifting, the uncomfortable awkwardness of just watching her wait to talk. It reminds me of people that I used to know, somebody who had an addiction to Demerol. And every time they would tweak out, this is what it would look like. I don't know what's going on with Chrystia Freeland. Maybe she needs another paper drink box water bottle sort of thing filled up with wine. I don't know. But let's go to what Chrystia Freeland had to say. Of course, this tweet coming out from Ryan Garrettson. By the way, if you haven't followed Ryan Garrettson over on Twitter, he's got some amazing tweets. Go give him a follow. Saying, Freeland talks to us like we're children. What a condescending speech this was, and a slap in the face to the millions of Canadians they are blatantly not listening to. Canada is broken. It's a mess brought in by 8 years of unethical gaslighting leaders. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
Canada is not and never has been broken. We are the imperfect and remarkable creation of generations of Canadians who did their part to build a better country in good times and in tough times, calloused hand by calloused hand.
So wait, I want to pause on that. Calloused hand by calloused hand, rebuilding our country. When has this woman ever gotten her hands dirty in anything other than embezzling money? That's my question. This woman would not know what an honest day's work was if it bit her in the behind. Let's continue.
Generations of Canadians who fought fear and cynicism with hope and hard work.
Again, this woman wouldn't know hard work if it snuck up with a baseball bat and clubbed her over the head. Now, of course, we can hear Pierre Poilievre saying something in the background, who's snapping back while she's talking. But what I love is, again, Ryan Gerritsen nails it on the head here, that she talks to us like we're children. She says, this was done against fear and cynicism. It sounds like a grade 4 lecture. I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to jump into the actual debt, which, by the way, the debt we're going to be taking on over the next couple of years exceeds the military budget for Canada. Disgusting. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland fall from economic statement on Tuesday exposed a federal government that is bleeding red ink that taxpayers will be paying for generations to come. Caught off guard by rising interest rates, the Trudeau government, meaning taxpayers, will pay $46.5 billion in interest on the federal debt of more than $1.21 trillion this year, almost 33% higher compared to the $35 billion last year, on its way to a staggering $60.7 billion in 2028. This is the big problem here, is that, if you looked at my opinion piece yesterday, which a lot of people criticized as clickbait, the problem with the Trudeau Liberals and with these governments, and we're seeing it in the United States as well, people are starting to wake up. People are starting to catch on. You've even had instances in the United States where guys like Michael Rappaport, who's, against Donald Trump, has said he'll vote for Donald Trump in the next election just to get rid of the corruption. And that's what we're seeing in Canada, is a government that is just stealing and stealing and stealing. Nothing is happening. No arrests are being made. When does that happen? It feels like, if this is what we're looking at, a 33% markup on the year, how much more are they going to steal from Canadians while they're in power? Again, personally, I believe he's on his way out. I think that the writing is on the wall, and it's just a matter of time. The problem is, and again, back to that opinion piece, Trudeau has nowhere else to hide. He's being pushed into a corner, and everything's going to explode. Whether that's tomorrow, whether that's 3 months from now, things are going to finally hit their limit, I believe. Call me wrong. That's fine. That's just my personal opinion. The $46.5 billion that Canadians will pay in interest on the federal debt this year won't go to programs to improve the lives of Canadians, nor will it lower the debt. It's paying interest on the debt. That's it. We're just paying compounded interest. To appreciate the financial burden this imposes on Canadians, consider this. The $46.5 billion in interest payments on the federal debt this year is just shy of the $47.8 billion the federal government will pay to its child care benefit program, plus employment insurance benefits combined. A lot of money. Put another way, the $46.5 billion interest payment of debt is 75% higher than the $26.5 billion the government estimates it'll spend on national defense this year. So it's 75% higher just in this year than what they're spending on military, which they're shuttling to the Ukraine, by the way. Everybody else gets the benefit of Canada's military except Canada. It's going to get worse in coming years. A lot worse. I couldn't agree more. In her March budget this year, Freeland predicted Canada's interest on debt payments would be $46 billion in 2024. Now she's raised it to $52.4 billion. Her previous estimate of $50.3 billion in 2027 is now $58.4 billion and on its way to $60.7 billion in 2028. How else do you lay out incompetency? Why are we giving billions and billions of dollars to the Ukraine for money laundering, support, when these are the statistics we're faced with? This Liberal government has a spending problem, and they're robbing Canadians blind. Something needs to give. Runaway debt is an inevitable outcome to the Liberals' failure to produce a single balanced budget in their 8 years in power. This despite Trudeau's election promise in 2015 that he would balance the budget in 2019, the year before the pandemic hit. So the Liberals can't use it as an excuse for failing to deliver. That's a good point. In her economic statement last November, Freeland predicted the Liberals post-pandemic would balance the budget in 2027. Well, we're way out from that. In this year's economic statement, she estimates there will be $23.8 billion deficit in 2027 and an $18.4 billion deficit in 2028, when total federal debt will be more than $1.36 trillion, with no plan to balance the budget, sorry, pardon my dyslexia, in sight. Simply put, Canada can't afford the Liberals any longer. That's an understatement. It's not that Canada can't afford the Liberals. Canada can't afford anything at this point. We can't get ahead. Now, for all the people who want to criticize things like Alberta and their oil and everything else, I want you to think about something for a minute. If we had no carbon tax, and let's say that the Trudeau government would have pushed for, say, Energy East, if they would be pushing stronger for TMX to be built, if things like Keystone would have gone through, the Northern Gateway Pipeline, if Alberta was allowed to share its revenue with the country and get its products to market, and natural gas, liquid natural gas. Pipelines are more safe for the environment than hauling via rail. Transport of LNG through pipelines is more safe and effective and better for the environment. So there's benefits around the whole board. How much would the country's national debt, even with the pandemic and the spending, look if we could have had that stuff out? I'm going to give you a little bit of an eye-opener on that one. Alberta pays roughly $16 billion a year just to Quebec in transfer payments, and that is without us getting our product to market. This is why people should be angry. And this isn't about oil. I'm saying that the Trudeau government has shut down so many things that could be generating revenue for this country while stealing money out of your pocket. And there's no accountability. Pierre Poilievre, who I believe, after his career as finance minister, has some competency of trying to restore or repay some kind of debt if and when he becomes Prime Minister of Canada. But let's be honest, it's going to be painful. It's going to hurt Canadians. This article nailed it on the head where it said times are tough, but they're about to get worse. I've been saying it for many videos and many months. Next year, I think, is going to be a huge, huge eye-opener for people. And I, for one, am very nervous to see what that looks like. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What should we be doing to fix this problem aside from ousting the Liberals? How do we get back to normal? How does Canada see some form of relief? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And by the way, if it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're hitting that subscribe button to turn on your bell for notifications. YouTube's still telling me that we're just over 100 people being notified every time our videos drop. So if you want to make sure you're getting all of our content, click that bell for notifications. Join us live here on the channel every Sunday when we do our weekly wrap, when we go over everything that happened in the week prior, everything coming ahead in the week ahead, as well as a little bit of Q&A and getting to know you guys on the side and outside of making these videos. I always love sitting down with our community. It's great to chat with new folks about how they're doing, what they see in the world. And speaking of what people see in the world, make sure to also join our Discord. We have a link in there for video suggestions. I'm looking to our audience to be almost like independent reporters yourself. If you see something, say something. Put your suggestions down in the comments for videos. If you see anything happening in your city and want to film it and send it over on the Discord, make sure to do that. And hopefully we'll see if I can feature one of your suggestions in one of our upcoming videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.